Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm going to start today's video with two comments. The first of that is thank you very much to everyone that clicked the subscribe button, everyone that commented, gave some feedback on my first video that I posted last week. Had some great comments, some really constructive stuff from you guys. One of which is that I shouldn't say quite so much. I will make a conscious effort not to every other sentence, but it seems to be quite a natural habit of mine, so I'll do my best for you. The second of which, obviously you can see I'm in the car now, just on my way over to the garage. I'm going to meet Dean whilst we're there. I've just been over to the local Screwfix and picked up some extra lighting for the garage. We finished up quite late the other night, as you saw in the video if you watched it. If you didn't, pause this video, go back, watch the first one. If you saw that video, you'll remember that I finished the video off from my van. It's the only way I could get any light in to take the video. So I've been to Screwfix. I've brought some extra light in. We're going to put that into the garage tonight. Once that's all in, we'll move on, and we're going to move on to the inlet of the ST engine, the Zetec engine that's going into the Fiesta. I've got some Toyota 4AGE throttle bodies that are mounted on a plate that I had made up. So we're going to crack on with those. They need a bit of port matching, polishing up so I can really get the best out of that setup. So it's a lovely evening. I'm going to drop my windows down, get a bit of fresh air flying through the car, have a nice spirited drive over to the garage, and I'll pick you up when we get there. Okay, so the new lighting is in. Two nice new bright lights up there. You can see Dino's arrived. Oh, yeah. We've got nice little under counter lighting here now, so you can see everything that's going on. So we've got the throttle bodies all set up here, ready to go. We're going to carry on porting and polishing them a little bit. Before we do that, I didn't get a chance to show you the bits welded up on the Fiesta last week because it was dark when we finished. See, it's hot tonight, mate. You see all my sweat on my t-shirt's jank. So I'll quickly just take you around here and show you the front of the car where we've got the welds finished up. So I've got the front panels kind of just clamped on at the moment. Just show you kind of in there if I can. Still need to clean it back a little bit, but we've got the two sides welded back in up there, and all the tabs ready for that side to be done. Stevie's still working on that side. Obviously, Steve at BRC is still working on that for me. That'll be another couple of weeks. I think it's got quite a lot of work on at the moment. So that's what we've got done on that. That's going to sit there for a little while. I think next week or the week after, hopefully going to start building a podium for the ST170 gear shift and the quick shift lever and everything. But for the time being, we're going to crack on, obviously, with these 4AG throttle bodies there. So I'll set the camera up and I'll show you what we've got going on. So as you can see then, what we've got here is ST170 lower inlet manifold, which is it's quite a popular popular way of doing the old throttle body and carb conversions. So that's what we've got there. So the original fuel rail beige injectors, and then sitting on top of that, we've got Toyota 4AG throttle bodies. I think are these 48mm, Dino?
They are a 48mm taper down to a 45mm throttle plate. Come off the 4AG 20 valve black top.
There you go, that's what they are then. So yeah, they're 48mm tapered then. You can see through there. They're a reasonable size. And then basically I've got this little plate made up here, half made up, that just bolts on with silicone. I got one here with the silicone couplers. I was going to get a proper manifold made up. I probably will at some point because there's something a little special I want to try and do with it, which will require an extra set of injectors all the way along. But that'll be a long time down the line. So for the time being, we're going to just carry on with this. I had a friend who worked at Ford R&D who made this up for me just in his lunch break. Sent it off to him and he was like, buy me a couple of Krispy Kremes and I'll make it up for you. So that was a score. So we've got these. You can see on the front edge here where it's just a square tube, and on the other side it's a bit rough there where we've started up. If you go on my Instagram, you'll be able to see the before pictures before we started any of this whatsoever. And then the idea is that we're going to end up with something a bit like this here, which has obviously got a nice taper on it, polished all the way through. And then obviously on this side we'll have a real nice taper on there as well, and a bit of a port match. It's not going to be a perfect port match because these throttle bodies have got you see on the bottom there, they're a really weird shape, so obviously they're not going to match up perfectly with the round hole that's on the plate there, but we'll do the best we can to get the utmost out of this this setup, and then potentially we'll change the manifold at some point. We might stick with these, or we might go over to Genvs or OMXs at some point, but for the time being we'll crack on with these. Me and Dina, we're going to do all this by hand here. I have got some carbide burrs, but I think we need to be a little bit more delicate than that, so we're going to use a file and some sandpaper. We'll crack on and I'll show you the end result in a second.
A few moments later.
You can see I've just got, it's a really crude tool, but I've got it's a hole cutter, bimetal hole cutter, that I've just wrapped a piece of aluminium paper over the top and Jubilee clipped on. So it's a bit dodgy, but it's done the trick beautifully. You can see it's polished those all the way through, nice and smooth, giving us a real nice lip on the edge there. It's perfectly kind of rolled out. So we can get a bit of a better light on it and show you. Take it out the vise quickly. Get it under the light. Oh, it's still hot. So you can see if I sit it up there, you can see it's giving us a really nice rolled edge on there. Don't worry about this gap around the edge there. That's basically where the tube didn't quite fit the plate, but so obviously you can see it's all TIG welded on the back, and the gasket, by the time this actually sits over the top, it covers most of that anyway, so that would be smooth. What I might do is maybe rub a little bit of liquid metal in there just to fill the gap. But you can see these two that one's just about finished. I've got a little bit more to do on this one, but you can see they're really nice and smooth on the inside. And I've got to move over to this back edge and just replicate the same on there. It's a good indicator. All of the ends look like this before we started, and hopefully all of the ends are going to look like that afterwards, nice and smooth and ported. We'll get it all bolted back up. I thought I'd just show you before I crack on with this last one, we can show you each stages. So I've just got basically a metal file with a curved edge. That's the first stage, just to file away the majority of the material. You can see from that square edge there to the nice thin edge here. And then once that's done, we'll move on to boring it out with this flat disc, which is, I've managed to round a nice curve on the end, so it just kind of bores its way in and cuts the curve. And then the last of it's just finishing up with my little homemade tool over there. So I'll crack on with the filing, and then I'll show you what we've got next. Okay, so that's fairly well filed out there. I was going to move on to the second step with a little flat disc and bore it out. Just before I do that, a point Dean mentioned the other day. Obviously I showed you my to-do list, which is over there at the moment. Dean's just taken the anodised coating off of the trumpets there, because I don't want them gold anymore. We're gonna probably do them in a gloss black or something, just to keep it nice and stealthy looking. So anyway, so I showed you the Motors by the Moat 2020 is the end goal for getting this car ready. Dean has got a Mark 1 Escort that's currently on the build. It's just come back from BRC. They did the metal work on it for him. So that's in dry build at the moment. It's just starting to put fuel lines and brake lines and whatever else into it. So that's at that stage. So the bet that I've got on with Dean is, obviously, if both cars make it, then no one loses. It's happy days. If a car makes it and the other one doesn't, obviously the person whose car doesn't make it buys the beers. Now I thought it was quite a good bet, because actually the person that wins is driving anyway, so they can only have like one beer. So it's kind of a win-win situation, which puts me in good stead, because I'll be very surprised if this Fiesta's ready for May 2020. I did think it was June or July, did I say?
July.
I said it was July. I said we had 11 months. It's not. It's May, which only gives us 9 months. So it's going to be a close run thing. So it's a good bet we've got going on now. But for the time being, I'll carry on cracking on with these, and well, we'll see in a couple of months whether we're any closer to winning the bet or not. So right, we filed this all out, lovely. I was going to swap the flat disc over in the drill now, or throw it across the worktop, I don't know. Alright, and then I'm just going to go in straight in on the front there. as you can see, I'll try and get the best view of it I can. As you can see, it's just polished the rim right up nicely there. So there's still a bit of a ridge in the middle. It's not quite as smooth as this one. So that's where I'm going to just run the next little stage with my little DIY tool that I've made up here. Just with this bit, I think I might have to just change the paper over on that, because I've managed to rip it, and I don't want the last thing I want is the teeth of this hole saw cutting in. That's all it is. There is literally a hole saw that fits perfectly down the inside of the ITB there. Sorry, of the manifold there, and I've just literally bodged on a piece of 120 grit green oxide paper, and then fixed it on with a cable tie. It's like the most redneck porting tool you've ever seen, but do you know what? It's done the job. And if I'm going to make this deadline that we've just spoke about, I need every penny available for parts. So if I can save a few quid here and there with little tools like this, might just help make the deadline now.
Still won't make it.
Well, it probably won't. We did say this before. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a few of the pictures of I mentioned in the last video. Santa Pod 2015. 2015. 2015. I didn't really touch on it in the last video. I suppose I'll touch on it now. We took the car to Santa Pod. It wasn't ready whatsoever. It shouldn't have. It literally passed its MOT by the skin of its teeth. It overheated on the way to the MOT. I managed to cool it down just before it went in for the MOT, and then it overheated on the way back from the MOT, and then we ended up changing the head gasket on it before we took it to Pod. We took it to Pod. It drove lovely all the way there, drove beautifully. Got it to Pod, started overheating the minute we got to Pod and started slowing down. Obviously the motorway driving, it fared out quite nicely. Got to Pod, overheated, ended up with a couple of cylinder knocks as well, ruined the piston on cylinder 4. Drove it home on 3 cylinders. The average coolant temperature on the way home was about 150, 160 degrees. So it was pretty much just running on steam. Took us an awful long time to get home. Car ran extremely rich all the way home, trying to cool itself down with fuel. I ended up, by the time I got home, there's a little hole around the gear gator. By the time we got home, I was really sick. My eyes were burning. Turns out I'd actually got carbon monoxide poisoning from the exhaust fumes. So it did nearly, God's honest, kill me on the way back from Santa Pod. So that's what happened when we rushed it last time. I really don't want to rush it this time. So if it's not ready, it's not ready. I guess I'll just have to buy Dean a beer. So, right, I've got my little tool all made up here. Just rip this little bit of excess off, get that out of the way, and get this all ported up. And then I guess the other question will be, once we've both made it to motors on the motor and the cars are finished, is who's going to be quicker down the strip. I might do a little, next time I pop down Dean's workshop, I might do a little video on his Escort and show you what's going on there, but I won't let you into too much for the time being. It's quite a special build that he's got going on. If you want to follow him, he's at curlywhirly90 on Instagram. Go over there and give him a follow, see what he's got going on, but I'm not going to go into it in this video as to what he's got going on now. I'll leave it a secret for now. Right, we've got all 4 of these done now. You see the manifolds and the little adapter plate is in 2 halves here. The reason for that is obviously originally this was attached together like that. Now with the offset on the ST170 manifold and this, they're slightly too close together. So to make it fit, we've split it up, and then what I'm going to do is just get a little piece of aluminium block to go in there, and we'll just TIG weld that in to make it the right length. To balance these out across the 4. This 170 manifold, you can see we've given it the treatment in there as well. We've smoothed the edges down best we can. There's a couple of manufacturing marks I can't get rid of. You can just about see them there. So they'll have to do for now. I'm getting a bit thin on material underneath. I don't want to keep rubbing at them and then go all the way through the manifold and have to start again, or try and plastic weld it, or all that jazz. So that's those 3 there. I'm going to get the 2 halves mounted up. And then I'm going to go ahead and just clean up the mating surfaces on both of these sides. You can see bits of old gasket on there. So I'm going to do that. And then next week I will probably grab some brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner or whatever, and a couple of toothbrushes from the shop. And we'll give these a good old scrub out on the inside. You can see they're a bit built up with carbon and stuff where it was running extremely rich. So I'm going to go ahead and get these built up. Dean is down there still trying to key up this oxidised coating. It's quite hard really, to be honest. Standardised coating is always going to be difficult to get off. But Dean's doing a cracking job, and then we've got one there that's just got a very first coat of black on, just to test it to make sure that we were going to get a decent outcome. And I think they might just about come out all right, to be honest. We'll get a heavy duty PU lacquer on top, and that'll just hopefully give us a nice smooth sort of. When I built it originally, I had a lot of gold bits in there, and it was a bit leery and it was a bit out there. This time round, I'm about 6 years older and I'm a bit more mature. Not a lot, marginally, but a little bit, and I just prefer the stealthier look. So that's what we're going to go for. I'm going to go ahead, get this assembled up, and then I'll show you what we got when it's all in one piece, and how it's going to look down into the head, which is all there stripped down, and then I'll explain what the plan with that is in a minute. So that's the plate mounted up to the bottom throttle plate there. Not throttle plate, sorry, the injector plate, the ST170 lower manifold. You can see obviously how far out the plate actually was to make these fit evenly. So that's the bit there that we've just got to put a bit of block in and TIG weld up. It does pull straight. Obviously once that's all done, the hoses will clamp on slightly better, but you get an idea of how much we've got down going into each port on the head. So that's just more than enough for the sort of power that I'm planning on running, to be honest with you. I'm going to clean these bits up, get them mounted up, and then carry on with the head. With the trumpets. I'm going to spray them up. I'm not going to video that because you all know how to spray paint stuff. If you don't, we'll go on next week. I'll explain what we're doing with the head. We're going to hand port it and stuff. I won't go into that this week because the video is going to be a bit too long. So I'll get these put up together. Once they're all together, we'll have a quick sign out, and then I'll let you know the plans for next week. Right, that's it pretty much all assembled as far as I can go today. I'm going to paint the other trumpets up, so I'm not going to put them on. So I've only just put this one on just so you can see the effect down the hole there. I'll show you all the way down and get the camera in the right angle. But there you can see. That's it all the way down. It's fairly smooth, to be honest. It's not too sad. I think it's about as good as I'm ever going to get with this type of setup. So fairly happy with how that's come out. So I'm going to crack on with these. If you're still watching, I know I've rambled on a bit this evening, but if you're still watching, thank you for watching. Remember to click the subscribe button. If you haven't checked out Insta, check out Insta. A few more bits on there. I'll put some other pictures of assembling these and stuff on there. So that's it for another video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.